All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Saturday, April 17th. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Now guys, I'm having a great morning so far because we are coming fresh off a 3-in-1 day in our 4 premium sports picks on my Patreon website. That's going to put us at 2-0 in our last two $1.99 daily best plays on that Patreon page. We're also 2-0 in our last 2 Major League Baseball tier package picks on that Patreon site as well. And the good news is this: we have another Major League Baseball tier package play going off this evening. We currently have over 1,350 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some action here. Let's go ahead and start with the Jazz taking on the Lakers, 4:30 p.m. Eastern start. The Utah Jazz are -8 with a total at 216.5. And if you like the Lakers in an upset on their home court, they're plus 270 on the money line. Now, Los Angeles has lost 2 out of their last 3 ball games. Gasol, Morris, and Drummond, they're all questionable for today's action as well. And of course, the big 2 are still out indefinitely with foot injuries. Now, the Lakers have been one of the worst home covering teams in the West. Out of their 28 ball games as the official home team, they've successfully covered the point spread just 11 times. The Lakers have also continuously struggled to score all year long. They're in the bottom 10 in scoring on average per contest, bottom 10 in shooting the 3-ball. The Lakers are scoring just 109 points a game. Now they're taking on a Utah team who's on a 2-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 13 out of their last 16 ball games. Utah's almost 30 games above 500 already for the season. They currently lead the NBA in offensive rebounding. And despite the potential absence of Donovan Mitchell here tonight, Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley are both still averaging over 16 points a night, respectively. Meanwhile, Rudy Gobert, he's bringing down nearly 14 rebounds a game and also scoring 14 points per contest. The Jazz have fared, they've played fairly consistent defense this year. They're in the top 5 in points allowed, top 3 in defending the 3-ball. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of Utah's last 5 did get over the line, throwing out the Pacer game. Utah is officially 14-13 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, the Lakers saw 5 out of their last 6 get over the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz -8 and the under 216.5. Next contest, it is going to be Cavaliers versus the Bulls, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Chicago Bulls are -1.5, totals 212. Now, the Bulls are still going to work without their best player, Zach LaVine. He's currently in COVID protocol. The Bulls are right in the heart of a 5-game losing streak, where they also failed to cover the point spread in each and every one of those 5 defeats. Now, Chicago's played their worst basketball of the year at the United Center. They've won just 10 out of 28 home games. And in addition to that, they also rank in the bottom 10 in the entire NBA in home scoring. Now, they're taking on a Cleveland squad who's covered in 4 out of their last 6 ball games. The Cavaliers are actually one of the better defensive road teams as well. Now, they are allowing just 109 points per contest when they travel. Colin Sexton scoring 24 points a night, 2 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Darius Garland's dropping 17 a game himself, along with 2 rebounds and 5 assists. Cleveland's in the top 3 defensively in the entire NBA in fourth quarter points allowed. When it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of Cleveland's last 7 got over the posted number. Chicago's gone 5-1 to the over in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the underdog Cleveland Cavaliers +1.5 and the over 212. Next matchup, still in that 8 o'clock slate here. I'm talking about the Pistons. That's who it is. Yeah, the Pistons versus the Wizards, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Washington Wizards are minus 5.5, totals 228 juice to the over. And for some reason, guys, Washington is playing some really good basketball right now. Must not have much of an interest in a potentially high draft pick. And plus, when you have a hard-headed guy like Westbrook, who's maybe not an awesome player, but a great competitor, and when you also have a prolific scorer like Bradley Beal, it does seem like at least a few of these guys on Washington, they do have something to play for. Despite the betterment of the organization as a whole, it would be better for the entire organization to lose. But, these guys play the game. And the Wizards somehow are on a 3-game winning streak, and they also went 5-1 straight up in their last 6. Now, the Wizards have also been real good against the number lately as well. They went 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. Now, Washington is one of the better scoring teams at home this year. The Wizards currently rank in the top 10 in home scoring. Bradley Beal's dropping 31 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook's getting nearly 22 a game himself. 10 rebounds, 10 assists for Russ. So for a team who's double digits below 500, we got a guy on there that's averaging a triple-double. Now, Washington currently leads the NBA in fourth quarter scoring at home. They are taking on a Detroit squad who still has a handful of guys on the injury report. Diallo, Magruder, Smith, and Joseph, they're all questionable for tonight's contest. The Pistons have been victorious in only 7 of 30 road games, and they currently find themselves 22 games below 500. Now, the Pistons have also struggled offensively all year long. They're averaging just 107 points per contest, and they rank in the bottom 3 in road offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Detroit's last 9 got over the line, throwing out the OKC game. The Pistons are also 16-14 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, Washington has gone 15-12 to the over as the official home team. I'm going to lean toward the Washington Wizards minus 5.5 and the over 228. Next matchup, Warriors versus the Celtics, 8:30 Eastern tip-off. The Boston Celtics are minus 4.5, numbers 228 juice to the under. Now, the Celtics have really started to turn things around here. They're currently on a 5-game winning streak, 7-1 straight up in their last 8. Now, the Celtics have also successfully covered the point spread in 6 out of their last 8 ball games as well. Now, it's definitely clear the Celtics play their best basketball at the Garden. They're 17-10 straight up as the official home team. They also rank first in the entire NBA in home defensive rebounding. Jason Tatum scoring over 25.5 points a night, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown is scoring nearly 25 points a game himself, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Brown. The Celtics allow just 108 points a game at the TD Garden. They're taking on a Golden State squad who's played consistently poor on the road this year. The Warriors have actually been victorious in only 11 out of 29 road games. Now, in addition to that, just keep in mind that Golden State has also successfully covered the point spread in just 37% of those games away from home as well. Now, Kelly Oubre has been listed as questionable with a wrist injury. Probably won't see him in action tonight, but even if you do, he's a little bit banged up. In addition to that, the Warriors are also one of the worst rebounding teams in the entire association. They're dead last in defensive rebounding on the road, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding as well. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Golden State's last 3 stayed under the line, 5-3 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, the Celtics went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Boston is officially 16-11 to the under at the TD Garden as well. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics minus 4.5 and the under 228. Next matchup, it is going to be Grizzlies versus the Bucks, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Milwaukee Bucks are minus 8.5, totals 236. Now, the Bucks are covering just 50% of their ball games at the Fiserv Forum. They also have a losing record against the spread overall for the season. Milwaukee's had problems defensively this year as well, especially in defending the 3-ball. The Bucks are currently in the bottom 10 in the NBA in defensive three-point percentage. Milwaukee's also dead last in the NBA in third quarter points allowed. They're taking on a Memphis squad who won 6 out of their last 9 ball games. They also successfully covered the point spread in 13 out of their last 16 contests as well. Memphis also is one of the best road covering teams in the West. They're currently 16-9 against the number when they travel, and that's good for 64% in that particular category. And despite the potential absence of Clark, Winslow, and Melton, we're still looking at John Moran, who's scoring over 18 points a night, along with 3.5 rebounds and 7 assists. Meanwhile, Jonas Valanciunas, he's scoring 17 points a game himself, along with a dozen boards. Memphis is currently one of the league leaders in road scoring. They're currently in the top 3 in road scoring, averaging 117 points a game when they travel. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, total-wise, Memphis' last 2 straight both got over the posted number, 6-1 of the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, 6 out of Milwaukee's last 9 got over the line themselves, throwing out the Atlanta game. The Bucks are officially 17-9 to the over. The Pfizer for them as well. I'm going to lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies minus 8.5 and the over 236. And with that, guys, we're going to hop into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Spurs versus the Suns, 10 o'clock Eastern start. The Phoenix Suns are minus 9, totals 230.5. Now, the Suns continue to roll this year. Another winning streak for them at 4 games. Phoenix has also gone 11-1 straight up in their last dozen. And they're currently, one of the best home covering teams in the Western Conference. Phoenix is currently 20-11 against the spread on their home court. Now, Phoenix leads the NBA in home offensive field goal percentage. They're also in the top 5 in home scoring. Devin Booker is scoring over 25.5 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 4.5 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is scoring over 15.5 points a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the point guard. Phoenix scores over 117 points a game at home, and they're drilling nearly 40% of their three-pointers. Now, they're taking on a Spurs team who lost their last 2 straight. They also dropped 7 out of their last 9. Now, during that stretch of their last 9 ball games, the Spurs successfully covered the number just 3 times. Another thing to add here about San Antonio, one of the Spurs' biggest issues is defensive rebounding. They're in the bottom 3 in the NBA defensively in rebounding on the road. San Antonio is also in the bottom 5 in the league in fourth quarter points allowed on the road as well. Now, total-wise, 6 out of San Antonio's last 10 meetings with Phoenix did stay under the number. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 9 and the under 230.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like the Utah Jazz minus 8, under 216.5. Cleveland Cavaliers plus 1.5, over 212. Washington Wizards minus 5.5, over 228. Boston Celtics minus 4.5, under 228. Memphis Grizzlies minus 8.5, over 236. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 2-0 in our last 2 $1.99 daily best plays on my Patreon website. We're also 2-0 in our last 2 MLB tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 9 and the under 230.5. With that, guys, now's the time for our YouTube shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to CX, Rare Keem, Chris Nedanoski. Shout out to Juzam Mart, JT McGee, Evan Poole, Drew Graham, Weps World, Roy Hearn, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Kirill Salachoff from Brooklyn, New York. Forget about it. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my Patreon website. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of April. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.